Hey guys! This angle is a little bit weird. It's too up close and personal. Let me move you guys back a little bit. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Hey guys! Welcome back to another little, Kashali's diary entry. I guess so. I don't really know what to call this. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I was kind of bored once again, and I find myself, whenever I get bored, I don't feel too great, and so I was like, let me film something. But I finished my last exam today, and it was very, very nice. I actually had two exams today. I had cell biology and I had social psychology. And for those of you that don't know, I go to the University of Toronto, Scarborough, and so yeah, I was doing that today. Um, Honestly, my exams went pretty well, and I am done my first semester of second year. It's actually kind of insane how I got here. Honestly, me from the past, me from Western, wouldn't have even thought in her dreams that she would be here. Um, Not to get deep or dark, but like, I didn't even think I would be here. Like, here, you know? And so, I don't know. It's like really crazy when you look back at it. And we learned about this in psychology, but our goalposts are always moving. As humans, we never actually sit down and are able to be happy continuously. And this was a really, really interesting concept I learned in class because, like, I don't know, I never thought about the fact that we actually, like, never are happy. We're always striving for something new. Um, and evolutionary wise, if I get a little bit bio on you, yeah, it makes sense. Like, why? Because I mean, if we felt happy from just doing one thing, then that wouldn't mean that we tried to be the best, tried to be the best for like survival of the fittest and shit, Darwin. But anyways, yeah. And so it's pretty crazy because this is normalized to me now. Me making videos, me going to university, doing exams, taking dance classes outside. And it's like I wouldn't have ever thought this a couple of years ago or recently even. So it's pretty incredible to see, and this is for you to also do a check, on yourself. And I'm sure there's a lot of things which you surprised yourself with this year. And so during this time, we tend to spend a lot of time just critiquing ourselves or feeling as though we didn't do enough this year. Oh, this year kind of sucked, I did nothing. Like, honestly, same. Because that's what first came to my head. I was like, what did I even do this year? Was it that eventful? Did I, like, I didn't become a new person, I didn't do anything. Like, I don't know, I felt pretty much useless to me. But no, looking back at it, I think I want to reflect a little bit on my year. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll do like another episode on this or whatever. But I think this year was actually very eventful. Um, I don't know. I haven't posted a video about this yet, but I think I talked about it in like some of my vlogs that I actually was training for a half marathon and I ran it with my best friend. It was an insane time. Honestly, like the time score that I had was basically at the time limit that the half marathon ended. Guys, I'm a pretty slow runner, but you know what? I ran. I did those 21 point something kilometers. And that is something I can be really fucking proud of. And I actually have that medal by my desk where I work. I need to figure out a way to frame it. So if you guys know like any good ways to frame a medal, let me know. But yeah, so when I was going through a hard time a couple days ago, maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was studying for cell bio, I would just touch the metal and just remember how such it's such a big thing to accomplish, you know? Like never in the wildest dreams would I have thought that. Um and yeah, and so I don't know, it's so crazy because like even in my head now I'm just like, oh well, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like I took 3 hours and 30 minutes anyways. It's gosh, I was a freaking rabbit, you know? But like no, no, not a rabbit, I meant the opposite, a turtle. But you get it, you get what I mean. But yeah, it's still a really big deal, and I don't know why my brain downplays it, but it is a really big deal. And I am very, very proud of myself for doing it. And also with that, with training, I think more so. Okay, the running itself was hard on the day of. It definitely taught me a lot of lessons. But even training for something like this, I have never done in my life. Something that really pushes you mentally. I feel like it's more of a mental push than it felt of a physical push at times, because physically I felt like I could do it, but mentally I was like, I'm gonna pass out if I do another kilometer. But I could physically keep going, you know? And so it was very interesting. I feel like my mental strength got a bit stronger. I definitely grew closer with one of my closest bestie friends. And yeah, and it was just really nice to see people who I love and care support me and my best friend during that day. And so yeah, and even like seeing my family. And one thing, I think I've really grown closer to my cousins and my siblings this year, and that makes me really happy. I feel like, I don't know, I've been like cherishing all the times we have together, and I think I did a good job of trying to stay as present as I can in my life. Trying to reduce screen times to explore my creativity with doing crazy shit like this, or like posting dance videos and stuff. And I don't know, it was a really good time. Um, I was also talking to my therapist about this, but I think I learned to be a lot more like my most authentic self, like she likes to talk about it, you know? Like, I really, really valued my own perspective, my own thoughts, what I believe to be true. For God's sake, I dyed my hair red, and that was pretty insane. You guys didn't really see the full depth of it because that's when I kind of like stopped posting because it was the summer, and then I was like actually really busy this summer with just going out and working. Um, but yeah, and not even that, but just like relationships wise, like I feel like I've really put myself like out there and just, you know, looking for what I want, and obviously having my own like boundaries and things that I am not really willing to compromise. But yeah, I've really, really learned a lot about myself this year, especially how like uh, I don't know, like gosh, definitely am some sort of like avoidant attachment or anxious attachment style, but that was a very, very interesting time anyways. Yeah, and so I don't know, relationships were a really big thing for me this year, and that definitely changed me a lot. Definitely a learning experience. Definitely did a lot of new things, which I never thought I would do. Um, or not that I didn't think I would do, but I just never thought it would happen then. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. And also, I grew closer to some people and drifted away from some people. But I think that's just like the pattern of life. Like, I honestly think it's kind of sad, but like now growing up, it's like proximity is not really a thing anymore. Like, you had those friends in high school or in middle school, even elementary school, and it's just like you were friends because that is who you were surrounded by. And it's not to say that they weren't a great friend and you guys were really good friends, but um it is a lot to do with proximity. And um yeah, and so like I feel like I am learning more about myself, more about what type of friends I would like to have, and how I like my friends I have in my life right now. Yes, just overall, I think understanding myself to a much deeper level. And I think this is probably something that just naturally occurs to you when your prefrontal cortex is developing. I'm still 20, so like it's still developing. But yeah, I feel like you've really learned to listen to your own voice instead of just listening to your parents or listening to the society in which you live in. And I think it's a very important step that we go through developmentally, like, becoming an adult. I definitely don't feel 20, but my brain is getting there eventually. I love how I'm like doing this little British tea accent. But yeah, and so I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about. Um I guess I could also talk about how this year brought a lot of challenges for me. Like I said, relationship wise. Yeah, a lot of my relationships in my life felt like I had to face a lot of uncomfortable feelings, and things which I don't know, I guess are things that I've held on to in my life, and just facing those more head on. Therapy definitely helped with a lot of it. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my therapist. Once again, if you go to university, oh my god, I don't know if you guys can like see the light changes, but my LEDs are like kind of awful in my room, and so it like changes up the lights sometimes. Um, but yeah, like a reminder, if you go to university, especially if you're in Canada, you most likely have money attributed to spending on mental health. And I know like University of Toronto, we have like 125 per session, up to 20 sessions per year. That is free money that you're letting go of if you don't use it. And so I would say fuck it, give it a chance, try therapy. You never know, you have nothing to lose, you're not even paying for it. And so yeah, anyways. Yeah, but yeah, I think I learned a lot about relationships, and definitely had my own faults. Definitely had communication talks. um but yeah, relationships were like a really hard and a very like highlighted point in my 2025 year. um yeah, another thing that was like really challenging for me was actually school. I think I actually might have been burnt out by the end of the summer. The summer was a good time, and I definitely got like, I did so many new things. I went out a lot, I got my bank up. I worked a ton of shifts, but that left me with basically no alone time. Um, and I just kind of was busy keeping up with everyone else in my life. And that left me feeling not the best going into the school year. Honestly, I didn't really realize it until like a week or two into school where I was already struggling to keep up, which was like very opposite to how I felt first year. Granted, first year I had basically like a whole half a year that was like a gap year, so you know, I didn't do school in that time, and so makes sense why I was really excited to get back into education. But yeah, I felt like the 4 months just weren't enough for me. And that definitely has to do with how I scheduled myself, and I wasn't honestly this summer as great as it was and as fun of memories I made. It definitely wasn't the best summer I've had. Um, yeah, I just didn't make enough time for myself, and I prioritized making other people feel better, or not even making them feel better, but just prioritize my time with other people a lot more. And I feel like I didn't value myself in that moment. And so it's very interesting looking back and even like looking through my skin. Like I didn't even realize, but like I was so tired because, and you could see that in my skin. My skin was breaking out all the time. Um, but yeah, and I was like really anxious a lot of the times as well. Uh, yeah, the summer was an interesting moment. And I feel like I dealt with a lot of anxiety also coming back into school because I just felt very burnt out and I didn't know why because I'm like, "Ugh, I had 4 months off. Why do I not feel fucking rested, you know? But I think it was a really fair thing for me to feel because I filled up my cup too much, or I guess you could say I actually spilled my cup too much, filling other people's cups up with it. But yeah, that was kind of poetic. Um, anyways, so that's why kind of this winter break, I wanted to focus on being just more rested. I felt this semester was really hard for me. Not to mention my courses themselves were a fucking pit of hell. Yeah, I took animal physio, human anatomy, cell biology, psychology research methods, and social psychology. And so, especially the bio courses, they were a pain in the ass this semester. Really hard, really content heavy, and my professors, they weren't the best. I would definitely say my professors were much better. I think first year maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it was a lot of content heavy, and I felt it was so hard to keep up. Even like this exam season, I felt like it was so long. I started from like the first day and went up basically to the end. Like tomorrow's the last day of possible exams, and it finished today. And so it was a really, really hard semester. Constantly felt like I was on the edge of burnout, and I was. Definitely was. But yeah, it's done now, and I want to reset. I want to feel alive. And I know that feels that's kind of crazy to say because I'm literally here, you know? I'm breathing, I'm alive. Um, but not like that. I guess so more so like finding my spark again. Not in like, oh, I'm finding my spark, you know? Not really like that, but more so just like I don't know. I think in terms of education, definitely, I want to find my spark more so in education. Like first year, it was so fun. Like, I, I wanted to learn, you know, and so I want to like invoke that again. Um, and I was actually watching a like an Instagram reel today, and in that the person was talking about how university students these days actually are always at the edge of burnout. We never feel well rested enough. And in that, she's talking about how we're constantly on the go. Um, we're working part-time, we're doing school, we have family, we have friend obligations, if you're in a relationship or whatever. um but yeah, we have a lot to deal with. On top of that, we never get time to ourselves. Even when we're home, when we are on winter break, we're always on our phones, we're always stimulated by some sort of information. And so yeah, I think maybe one way to be for me to feel a little bit more rested is I want to take time without screens, without being stimulated, because like I talked about this in the last video, I don't know, I feel like that is definitely like something that doesn't allow us to recharge our battery. And so yeah, I'm working on it, and I'm gonna try to be more present in my life, especially during this winter break. And I don't know, I just don't want to like set myself up to do too many things, because I know how hectic it can be, and I don't want to be doing that. um but yeah, I hope your winter break goes good. I think I'll be seeing you a lot more as of now, because these videos are kind of fun to make, and I also love using my mic. But yes, that will be it for me today. I know this quality kind of sucks shit, but like my iPad is the only thing that has storage for me to film on, and so I literally cannot film on my phone. Like my phone is always at the brink of showing the full storage, and then me having to delete another app, because I just can't delete photos. Like photos are so meaningful to me, it holds a lot of emotion. um yeah. Oh, also update, I actually got my first ever Aritzia purchase. I bought a Super Puff. Yeah, it was really random, but one of my best friends, she works at Aritzia, and so I got a discount, and I was like, when else am I gonna get a Super Puff? This is the perfect time to use it. And so I ended up getting a Super Puff. And if you guys want like more so vlogs, let me know. I can try and film some here and there this winter break. Or if anything, go to my TikTok. Um, yeah. But yeah, I love you guys so much. I hope you guys have a good winter break. And happy holidays. Um, if you're celebrating Christmas with your family or your friends, yeah, I hope you feel lightness in this dark time where it gets dark by like 4 p.m. It's insane, but I guess there's a lot of magic to snow though. So yeah, I'll see you guys.